Welcome to MarvelVision, a podcast about Marvel, the MCU, and right now, Hall H panel. I'm Alex.
I'm Pete.
And on MarvelVision, we are going to be talking about the big Hall H panel that happened at San Diego Comic-Con this past weekend. So many announcements, so many things went down. Pete, I know you're a little under the weather. Were you getting yourself up from your sick bed to scroll things on Twitter, find out what was happening in the world of Marvel, or did you catch up with it later? How did you?
Well, luckily, I subscribed to our Patreon, and you were so nice to break everything down. I was just able to follow it there, and I felt very informed. So, yeah, I got to watch the trailers as you kind of posted about them. So, I felt very in the loop.
Thanks, Pete. I'm glad to hear that. But I was definitely watching on Twitter. Other than being in the room, and I have been in the room at Hall H when they've done those panels. I was there specifically when they showed off the Infinity War panel, and to be like brutally honest to myself about it, I like cried when they showed the Infinity War panel.
Wow.
It was just this moment. First of all, like the whole panel was great. And the way that they do those panels is just, it's such a show when you're in the room. Like the feeling there being with 6,000 other fans is just electric. But there was something about seeing that surprise trailer for the first time of Infinity War that I was like, oh my God, they pulled it off. This thing that I've pictured in my head from reading comics my entire life. I can't believe they did it. So I don't know. I'm very envious of the people that were in the room, but I was definitely like multiple tabs on Twitter and the Patreon Slack, like you're talking about. But so many things went down. So I figure, why don't we go through them phase by phase and kind of talk about everything, give it a couple of minutes and talk about some of the big announcements. Sound good?
Yeah.
All right. So let's kick it off with the big thing that began it. There was a trailer for She-Hulk, Attorney at Law, which is coming out to Disney Plus August 17th. What'd you think about this, Pete? There's been a lot of concern about the CGI in the show of She-Hulk in particular, but we finally got to see more of the show. We're definitely pretty close now. How are you feeling about it?
Man, it looks great. I know initially I was kind of like, don't make this whack, but I feel like it really looks good now, and I'm really looking forward to it. It's quirky, how I like my She-Hulk, which is great. It's fun. I like her. I love the sister big brother energy that it's bringing. It feels like it's going to be a fucking great show. I cannot wait.
Well, here's the thing that I'll say that I'm sure is going to make you mad at me. The She-Hulk CGI
Maybe don't say it then.
She-Hulk CGI still doesn't look good, but I also think like the Hulk CGI has never looked that great. A lot of the full body characters that Marvel does and CGI just don't look good, but it also doesn't matter once you get them talking and once they're doing stuff. And I think that's the important thing because Tatiana Maslany is so good. And like you said, it's a very Fleabag tone, I think, to it. I don't know if you've seen Fleabag, the Phoebe Waller-Bridge show, which is so awesome and you should check out.
It's hysterical.
But it definitely has that with her turning to the camera and looking at the camera, that moment of like both her and Hulk doing it. Very fun though at the same time. And I think the other thing that I think was pretty exciting about it is you have a bunch of guest stars, right? You have Tim Roth is coming in as Emil Blonsky, the Abomination. Benedict Wong is Wong. And we got a very subtle reveal at the end there of what looks like Daredevil in a new costume.
Yeah.
How are you feeling about that, Pete? There's going to be more to talk about with Daredevil in a second, but go ahead.
Well, then maybe I should just wait because I don't want to say something and you would just be like, no, wait.
No, go for it. Go for it. It's fine. We're a freeform podcast.
All right. Well, if you get Daredevil, that means Foggy's right there. You know what I mean? Foggy is behind him all the way, helping him out.
You think like he's just off screen? Like Daredevil flips in to talk to
if you're
She-Hulk
doing
and Foggy's like, me too.
She-Hulk, if you're doing a She-Hulk talking about law, you know you're gonna need fucking Foggy Nelson right there to fucking do, because he's the one holding down all the cases while Daredevil's
Are you going to need him, or are you just going to need the lawyer that you already have?
Fuck you, man.
All right, maybe we should move on. You want to move on to the next thing in Phase 4? I mean, I think this is the big thing, so this is almost jumping to the end in a certain way. But the next thing that's happening in Phase 4 is Black Panther Wakanda Forever.
Wakanda Forever.
Which ended the panel. Of course it did, showing off the first trailer for the movie, as well as officially revealing that we are going to see, I'm going to mispronounce his name, but Tenoch Huerta as Namor in the movie. It's going to be not the Atlanteans, because they seem to be a different civilization, um, fighting against Wakanda in a certain way. Pete, I I will just put out there, I have not watched a trailer multiple times in a row in forever. Like, I legitimately cannot remember the last time that I did that. Like, mostly I'll watch a trailer and be like, no, that was pretty good. Or, oh, I'm excited for that movie. I watched that 5 times in a row and cried harder every single time that I watched
Oh
it.
my God, you exactly. Every time I watched Wakanda Forever, I cried, and I saw it a lot, like a lot. I don't know if I'm ever gonna stop watching this movie when it comes out. It's I am so excited for this movie, so fucking
I
excited.
Here's the
Everything
thing.
about this movie is exciting.
I It
The
honestly made me.
casting is bananas. I can't wait to see what they're going to do with Riri. I cannot believe the Namor that we're getting. I've never been excited about Namor, and I am very excited about
The idea
Namor.
of Namor versus Wakanda is amazing. I feel like we're sort of like, Namor looks great, first of all, but also
Yeah.
we're underplaying like that shot of, again, whatever we're eventually calling them, but like hanging onto the humpback whale and using that
Yeah.
as their vehicle is amazing. That is an amazing shot. The way the trailer was cut together was absolutely phenomenal. The music was incredible. We were having a little bit of a debate about this on the Patreon Slack a little bit, because some people were feeling like that using No Woman No Cry, which is from Bob Marley, who's from Jamaica, was a weird fit with something that is about an African civilization. But I disagree with that. I think the music was perfect because, first of all, you get the lyrics absolutely matching the emotion of what's happening
Yeah, that's
in the
what's
trailer.
because it's like they're letting you know, like, oh, you're about to fucking cry your eyes out.
Mm-hmm. Well, I will say also there are some interpretations of No Woman No Cry that are Bob Marley being like, no woman, no, don't cry. Like, that's the interpretation of it.
Oh
And
no,
there was,
no, please tell me more about Bob Marley and
well,
how
no,
he,
no, no. But I'm saying, like, I thought that was an interesting interpretation. Is some folks were saying that, like, it is T'Challa telling everybody, like, no, it's going to be okay, everything's going to be all right. That's not how I interpreted it, because it felt like this ironic thing of like, everything's going to be all right, everything's going to be all right. You kick into the Kendrick Lamar all right, which is fucking awesome, and it's like, no, everything's going to go wrong, and that's when you get that Angela Bassett line
oh yeah.
that I'm like, oh god, oh, I'm sobbing. Where she talks about her whole family being
Yeah.
gone.
Yeah.
That, are you crying right now?
No, I'm just I
Oh,
don't
okay. You looked
don't
down
want to
for a
cry.
second, so
Yeah,
I
I
couldn't get
don't want to
over
cry. I'm fighting it.
it.
I'm fighting
we,
it.
I'll mention as like a side note, I watched it and then I showed it to my wife and son the next day, and my son asked some question about it, like, why did they do this thing? Specifically, I think about the Angela Bassett line, and my wife and I looked at each other. We were like, uh,
Because the Black Panther's dead.
I get,
He
just,
does Chadwick Boseman is no longer with
oh,
us.
I can't say it out loud without crying. But I want to throw out a little like theory question to you. So she says in the line, and this is something that people have picked up on quite a bit, but she says, I am the leader of the most power, I'm paraphrasing here, but I'm the leader of the most powerful country in the world, and my whole family is gone. What does that mean for Shuri? Because Shuri is part of her family.
Yeah, but I think Shuri is going to make some choices that
Mm-hmm.
maybe leave her alone. I don't know, but first off, it's just so powerful and so amazing. And oh my God, I'm so excited for this goddamn movie.
Uh,
Like,
yes. Well, wait,
I
hold on. I
think
don't want to skip past the Shuri thing, because I think like there's a couple of possibilities here, right? There's one, some people have speculated that in the white costumes, maybe there's some sort of wedding going on. There's that quick shot there.
or it
So maybe,
seems like a funeral. I don't know.
I thought it was a funeral as well. But there was speculation that it was a wedding. Maybe she's captured by Namor. Maybe she's killed. I don't think she's going to be killed necessarily, but something is going to happen to her. The other bit of speculation point is we do get a shot of somebody in the Black Panther costume at the end.
Yeah,
So
we do.
who do you think it is?
I have no idea, but I'm excited to find out. The part that got me is Okoye going, Wakanda Forever.
Oh, the whole trailer got me. The water birth, everything in the beginning, everybody barely holding in their emotions. Oh my God. Oh, it's amazing. And the last thing that I'll mention, this is a very side thing, and I'm not saying this to be mean. I just thought it was very funny. There's this video passed around of the whole cast hugging on stage after the trailer was shown. And if you go and watch the video, Kevin Feige is there and he's like standing outside the hug circle and he keeps like taking little steps in and being like, oh, can I have a hug? Can I get a hug?
Can I get in? No,
I worked on
no,
it too. I'm Kevin Feige. I don't know if you guys know me. But
is it cool if maybe no?
can I get a little hug? Anyway, very funny video, but goddamn, that movie looks amazing.
God damn.
Why don't we move on? Oh, go ahead.
I like this has gone through so much, and there have been people who are like, how do you do this without Chadwick Boseman? How do you keep going? But like the fact that the Cougs is at the helm makes me feel really good, and the people that they have are just phenomenal actors, and I feel like they made such a good choice of using it and leaning into it, and I feel like this is going to be a great movie to grieve an unbelievable actor.
That was the thing that I was about to say at the beginning of our discussion here. Like, if I'm sobbing for 2 minutes of a trailer, what is going to happen in the theater?
I know.
Pete?
I don't know how I'm going to leave though. Like, I feel like I'm going to like keep wanting. I watched the trailer so many times that like how I have a thing where I watch movies over and over again and TV shows that I love, and I don't know how I'm going to stop watching this movie.
Well, I kept thinking about it in terms of going to the theater and sobbing, and then immediately thought of the first time I saw Black Panther was you and I saw it in the theater together in 4D. And I've told this story before, but I remember you got so many snacks and you put them on your lap, and then those are the seats that shake you, and the snacks were just like vibrating and bouncing around on your lap. And I just had this picture of you with like your lap covered in snacks in a 4D theater, just sobbing and crying, snacks bouncing everywhere. That was the main takeaway that I had.
Yeah, you got to hold on to your seat because you're going to be shake crying, I think, in this fucking movie, man.
All right, why don't we move on and talk about Phase 5? This is something we didn't get to see outside of the room, but Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania showed off apparently a trailer or some footage, but the big things that we can talk about are Bill Murray is in the movie. We know Kang is the villain. There was a tease of him there.
Oh,
and
man.
Also, this was one of the most exciting things to me. MODOK is in the movie. We don't know.
That's exciting. That makes me worried. That MODOK
go crazy. Have the weirdest things possible in Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania. Why not?
I guess. I mean, I would think Mojo more than MODOK, but all right.
I mean, if you're gonna, Mojo doesn't make as much sense for Ant-Man and the Wasp. I think MODOK. I wonder if they'll get Patton Oswalt to do it like live action after he did it in the animated show. I think that would be fun.
Be interesting.
And who do you think Bill Murray is playing? Because apparently that's a mysterious role.
Probably Bill Murray.
Yeah, that was my thought too.
I hope.
Next one that we didn't get to see a lot of is Secret Invasion, which is going to be launching spring 2023. But basically,
I thought that would have been right after we talked about Skrulls. You know, I thought that would have been like, all right, Secret Invasion. But it's crazy that has been pushed. You know, we're finally getting Secret Invasion. I thought that would have been more of a first out of the kind of next phase, you know?
Yeah, I will say the biggest news that I felt came out of the Secret Invasion thing, which is so weird, is they sent out the press release and they announced the official cast of Secret Invasion, which includes Samuel Jackson as Nick Fury, Ben Mendelsohn as Talos. We got Kingsley Benadir, Amelia Clark, Olivia Colman. Colby
Damn.
Smulders is going to be there as Maria Hill. And then they announced that Regé-Jean Page, who people might know from Bridgerton, is going to be in Secret Invasion. And then very quickly, a couple of hours later, sent out a press release saying, actually, he's not in Secret Invasion, which was very weird. I have never in my life seen that in a press release, never seen that sort of thing happen ever. So I can't even begin to speculate what happened there other than maybe he was in it at some point and then left the project, and that whoever did the press release didn't get the memo about that. But very weird.
Yeah.
The other one, maybe a little more stuff to talk about here. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Again, we didn't get to see any of the footage. James Gunn later said that was because the VFX wasn't necessarily done. But we did get a bunch of new details about that, including Maria Bakalova, who people might know from Borat 2, is going to be doing the voice of Cosmo, the dog.
Yeah.
Very fun. And more exciting for me, this is one of my favorite Marvel characters, and I know you're probably going to be like, really? Same as with MODOK. But Chukwudi Iwuji, who was in Peacemaker, you might remember he was the head of the team there for a little while, is going to be High Evolutionary in the film, so presumably the film's villain. What do you think about that, Pete?
Well, first off, love the that actor, so I was happy to see more. But yeah, that's a different turn.
I think it's great, and I think it's really, my suspicion is it's going to dive into Rocket's origins a lot, which are going to be sad and terrible and disturbing and
really fucked up. Yeah,
that's where Guardians of the Galaxy is best. So I'm very excited to see that. All right, to run through a couple of other things, and stop me if you want to talk more about them, but we got Echo is going to be debuting summer 2023. We got Loki season 2 also coming summer 2023. Then Ironheart, who, as you mentioned, is going to be debuting in a big way in Black Panther 2, is going to be streaming fall 2023. And then we got a different title here, Agatha. Previously, Agatha House of Harkness is now Agatha Coven of Chaos.
Ooh,
it's
nice.
coming in winter 2023. What do you think about that? What's your speculation about the title change, Pete?
It's exciting title change. I feel like it got a bump up. Agatha, not only a great actor, but also fun in that show, and I'm excited to get more with that character because it's such a fun character.
A couple of other ones. The Marvels, which we already know, is going to hit theaters on July 28th, 2023. Blade is shooting this October, Pete, and it's coming to theaters in November 3rd, 2023. Just missing Halloween, but that's okay. It's all good. I think we'll roll with it. But the big new ones that got revealed, which we could definitely talk about, we kind of knew this was happening, but we got a title for it. May 3rd, 2024, Captain America New World Order.
Yeah.
So, just based on the title, we know this is the Sam Wilson starring Captain America film. Yeah. We know it's from the team that brought us Falcon and the Winter Soldier, now Captain America the Winter Soldier. What do you think, Pete? What do you expect is going to happen in Captain America New World Order?
Well, I'm excited to just kind of see Sam being Cap, you know. I just want a lot of that. But I'm excited to see what the shield means to him and how he wields it and the choices that he makes. I think it's when Sam is Cap, it really opens things up and brings some freshness to the role. So I'm very excited.
I think we're going to get a lot of World Championship Wrestling, right? Isn't NWO one of the wrestlers there, or a team or something like that?
Yep. You really got your finger on the pulse, buddy.
Yeah, I know what I'm talking about. I don't know. But it should be interesting. I was not the biggest fan of the TV series, but I'm willing to give this a chance because Anthony Mackie is rad. But then we got an even bigger announcement, Pete. You got to be losing your mind about this. We teased it earlier in the podcast, but Daredevil, Born Again, an 18-episode season with Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio.
18 episodes?
Coming to Disney Plus.
What is this, the CW?
Disney Plus in spring 2024. What do you think? What's your immediate gut reaction? How are you feeling, Pete?
I mean, the fact that Kingpin is back is very exciting.
He's gonna have a big hole in his face after Hawkeye. Echo shot him right in the face. How is he gonna deal with that? His
in the
big
face.
in the face.
Yeah, but I mean, we'll probably get some
Yeah,
before
he'll
he was
probably
shot in
be
the
an
face.
Echo. He'll probably be an Echo, and he'll probably be fine. So I wouldn't worry about it
We'll
too
see
much.
what happens. I mean, I hope it starts with him just staring at an all white painting. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and being like, I'm going to make an omelet for myself.
Oh man,
18 episodes is a lot. That was
it's
my
a
main
lot.
reaction.
It's
It's a
a
lot.
fucking lot, brah.
I have to imagine they're going to split that up into like 3 6 episode part one, part two, part three. Again,
Maybe
we were
so.
talking about this on the Patreon
I
Slack
think
a
what
little
they're
bit.
gonna do is
Yeah.
it's gonna be 6 episodes of just Foggy. You know what I mean?
Uh,
And then 6 episodes of just Kingpin,
oh,
and then 6 episodes of Daredevil.
I thought you were going to say 6 episodes of Foggy, 6 episodes of Karen, 3 to 5 episodes of Foggy and Karen, and then maybe they'll get around to
And
Daredevil.
then
If then
maybe a
maybe Daredevil.
cameo as John Bernthal as the Punisher.
Here's what I hope. I my suspicion is that they're going to do 3 6 episodes parts because like essentially they want to do 3 seasons, but they don't want to pay people for 3 seasons, which is shitty behavior. But whatever. That's how they run their business. But my fondest hope is they actually do it as a law procedural. Like that is the best case scenario if they
Doom,
do it
doom, doom, doom,
right.
doom.
Do it like a Law and Order.
Doom,
Do it
doom,
like an
doom,
LA
doom,
Law, something like that.
doom.
How fun would that be?
It
Like
would
just
not be fun. I don't want to take a show that I love and then put it in another thing. No, I think it would be you gotta if you're gonna do that many episodes, you gotta have like a Punisher, like two episode
sure.
arc. Come on.
That's fine.
Come
I think
on.
they're bringing them all back. The rumor is
Come
Kristen Ritter
on.
is going to come back as Jessica
Oh,
Jones.
that would be sick.
She is
You're
supposed to be
gonna get
back
some Luke
potentially in
Cage then?
Echo or
You gotta
She-Hulk.
come on with the
Yeah,
Luke Cage.
he's busy. He's got evil. But the last thing that I wanted to say about this, there's a lot of talk about. It's called Daredevil Born Again. Are they going to do the Born Again arc from the comics,
You
which they
got to.
already did? But they already did it in season 3 of Daredevil. I
Yeah, but
think
it's
it's
born again.
I think it's just a title. I think it's just like a metaphorical title of it is Born Again. We had Daredevil on Netflix. Here's the Disney Plus Daredevil. Let's go. And the last thing we should probably talk about there is he seems to have a new costume that brings in the red and yellow. Are you excited for that, Pete?
What? The yellow. Wow. That's some.
I love
Well, that
getting
makes
into
me
these.
worried that they're gonna redo his origin. Then I don't want to.
Nah,
I don't have to
I
watch
think
his
it's like
origin
we
again.
talked about a lot on the podcast. I think it's all in continuity until it doesn't need to be. Like they're not going to mention it. They're not going to be like,
Wait, so
remember
you're
when I did.
saying they're not gonna have Ben Affleck in it? Is that what you're saying?
That's the same character, right? Like he was Ben Affleck and then he morphed into Charlie Cox, like
Yep.
Morph Animals. Is that
Wow,
what they're
dude.
called?
Wow.
Last thing in Phase 5, though, before we get to the big Phase 6 news, Thunderbolts is coming. Is coming July 26th, 2024. We don't have a lot of details here other than we know it's going to be some heroes we know, some heroes we don't. What do you think about this, Pete?
Well, first off, I'm not that excited because I don't know if I want Thunderbolts. All right. Well, let me back up the truck a little bit. Thunderbolts, the comic, was fire, was so great, was so much fun. I don't know how I feel about seeing that happen in real life because I feel like it would hurt my heart.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Huh. Interesting way of taking it. I'm very excited. I've wanted I don't know if they're going to go this route, but I've wanted a villain team in the MCU so very, very long. I think like we've had all these heroes. We always have them fight a big Hulk-esque guy, and that's pretty much it, like a big muscly guy, you know? So give us something different. Give us somebody that's going to go against the Avengers, go against the heroes, and be a match for them as a team. I assume we're going to see Yelena Belova on that. I assume we're going to see Zemo on that. I assume we're going to see US Agent on that. But I assume we're going to see a couple of other characters as well. And I think that's going to be very, very fun. So I'm very
Why
excited.
is it fun to see bad guys pretend to be superheroes?
Well, it's fun to see them. It depends on what take they get, right? Like, there could be the Dark Avengers take. For anybody who isn't familiar with the Dark Avengers comic book, that's where Norman Osborn put together a team of villains who basically
Yeah,
dressed up in the heroes' costumes. So you got Venom as
fuck shit
Spider
up.
Man, you got Bullseye as Hawkeye, and a bunch of other folks like that. Or you've got the Baron Zemo take, which is they pretended to be heroes while they were actually villains and doing their villain plans. But the whole thrust of Thunderbolts, however you do it, is these people who are doing bad, but also have this germ of good in them that's fighting against it. So it's not about them doing fucked up shit. It's about them doing fucked up shit and then realizing slowly that they got to be better. And I don't know. I think there's something fun about that arc to watch. So I think it'll be exciting. It's Suicide Squad. It's the same sort of thing. So
Well, I don't know. I don't know.
it kind of is, though. Whatever it is, it's a new thing potentially that we're going to see, and it's going to be some characters we see again. And then finally, we're getting into phase 6, which is ramping up really quickly. It is ending what is now called the multiverse saga, following up on the Infinity Saga, which was the first decade of Marvel films. And phase 6, here's what we know so far. And I say so far because there's definitely more coming, probably at D23 in September when they have their big panel there. But we got Fantastic Four is hitting theaters November 8th, 2024. Production kicks off next year for that. And then we got it following up with 2 Avengers films. Avengers The Kang Dynasty, May 2nd, 2025, which we now know, this wasn't at the panel, but it was announced earlier today, is going to be directed by Destin Daniel Cretton. I got his name. I'll actually look it up. The guy who directed Shang-Chi is going to be directing Avengers
Oh
The Kang
shit!
Dynasty. And then TBD director, but Avengers Secret Wars is coming out November 7th,
Wow.
2025. Pete, what are you doing with this mind-blowing information?
I just gotta stay alive until then, man. That's it.
That's it? And then you can die?
Yeah.
Yeah. There is so much to unpack here. Destin Daniel Cretton, that's his name. I did get it kind of right. But we got Fantastic Four. There's so many questions marks there in terms of,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, do you have John Krasinski or do you go somewhere else?
I don't know.
Uh, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I feel like they're going to have a different cast, but maybe not. But we got to know who the director is. We got to know who the cast is. What's going to
Yeah.
happen? Who's the villain?
Is
It's
Jessica Alba gonna be there? Like, where's Michael Chiklis?
absolutely
What
where
is happening?
is Chris Evans coming back to the MCU this time as Johnny Storm? What is going to happen? Yeah, there's lots of questions about Fantastic
What's
Four,
the
and the wild thing
deal?
is like, it's 2024, Pete. It's coming out in like a little over 2 years at this point. So this is not them saying Phase 6 10 years from now. It's Phase 6 2 years from now. So this is something again we were discussing on the Slack a little bit, but like,
There's too many phases. We're in too deep.
well, this is the question: is there too much happening too quickly here? Because we had
Yes.
phases 1 through okay,
I'm worried that there is too much happening because what was so great was everything was so well picked, and there was people at Marvel who write the comics, had input on the movies. There's so many shows, so many movies now. It can't have the same care and the same eyes and the same people curating and making these decisions. It's just being cranked out, and I feel like the sausage isn't as good. You know what I mean? I'm worried that the quality of the sausage is going to go down.
we'll see. I mean, I think first of all, we're gonna watch the Marvel stuff, whatever, because that's how we're wired, right? And there's a
Yeah.
lot of other people that are wired that way. I think the other thing is people have been unsure about phase 4, and rightly so, because there's been a lot of setup in a lot of different directions. But the proof is going to be when they get to phase 5, are they starting to bring things together? Are they starting to bring threads together? Is there something we could hook into, like the Infinity Gauntlet, like the Infinity Stones? And if not, then I do think they have a problem. But if we start to see a clear path to Kang Dynasty, to Secret Wars, then I think people's opinions will change.
Also, why aren't we talking about like Spider-Man homeschooled or Spider-Man home and stuck at home and
Mm-hmm.
quarantined at home? You know what I
Well,
mean?
I do think in Phase 6, there's a lot of spaces, right? Like they have 3 movies in there over 2024 and 2025. There's a lot more stuff that's going to get filled in. My big theory, I think D23, we're going to get, hey, we showed you off Fantastic Four, Kang Dynasty, and Secret Wars. Here's the other side of that timeline. And they're going to reveal Deadpool 3, Spider Man 4, X Men leading into all of this stuff. I think they got to do it, right? Like before you bring on Secret Wars in particular, which is going to hopefully be bigger
Secret
than
Wars.
even Endgame or Infinity War. You got to have X-Men in there. You got to have Fantastic Four in there. You got to have every single character in there. You bring back an alternate universe version of RDJ's Iron Man, Chris Evans, all of that stuff. Like it's got to be the biggest thing of all time, right?
Yeah, I mean, it would be crazy to see him come back and do that.
I mean, the other thing that I'll throw out at you while we're talking about this Phase 6 stuff, and we've talked about this before, but I think the key thing is Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, where they started talking about incursions. And for those who aren't familiar with the comic books, this was a big long run by Jonathan Hickman and a bunch of different awesome artists, where they introduced this concept of multiversal Earths crashing into each other. And spoiler, I don't know if they're going to go this way, but spoiler that in the first issue of his take on Secret Wars, the Fantastic Four in particular are trying to stop the final incursion from destroying Earth, and they lose. The Earth is destroyed, and it's only through machinations of, I think it was Doctor Doom, that he managed to hold together a patchwork planet of various realities. So my suspicion here, I don't know necessarily, I think they're gonna like sub Kang in for Doctor Doom in this scenario. But I think that's what we're gonna get. I think we're gonna get Fantastic Four not necessarily being an origin story, but dealing with incursions. Kang Dynasty specifically being like getting a riff on the Kang Dynasty comics where Kang rules the Earth. And then ultimately that causes this final incursion that kicks off Secret Wars with this patchwork planet. I think that's the path that we're heading on. But obviously we're far out, so we'll see.
We are far out because I think what you're missing is Kang Dynasty is actually going to parallel Duck Dynasty in our world.
Okay. Okay.
You know
Okay.
what
I
I
could see
mean?
that. I think that's a
Yeah.
good theory as well. But this is all very exciting. How are you? It sounds like you're a little, to kind of wrap it up here, trepidatious about too much Marvel stuff over the next couple of years. Is that
I am a
accurate, Pete?
little trepidatious. I'm a little nervous. I also haven't seen a good Fantastic Four movie yet, so I'm a little worried about them going back in on Fantastic Four. You know what I mean? So like, that's a dangerous kind of property you're fucking around with.
We'll see. That's what Marvel always does, though, right? They fuck around and then they find out, and what they find out is people like it.
Fuck around and find out.
There you go. All right, very exciting stuff. Lots of other stuff that needs to be filled in there. As our third host,
Yeah.
Justin, mentioned, Armor Wars, a series that seems to have fallen off the schedule somehow. There's a couple of other things. We didn't really even talk about the animated stuff. There was a big animated panel, but
Yeah.
we got a new season of What If that's coming up, a spinoff in Marvel Zombies. A third season of Marvel's What If has been ordered. Also, we got Spider Man Freshman Year that seems to be an alternate universe take on Spider Man. That's animated as well. And we've got X Men 97, which is continuing X Men
Oh
the animated
shit.
series, which is
I
also
mean,
very exciting.
that's very exciting.
It is very exciting. You hear that theme?
Oh, come on. I mean,
Come on, man.
it brings you back. I mean, that's classic 90s right there.
Yeah. And I'll tell you what, I'll throw out something specifically for this podcast. This isn't coming out until August 10th, but I saw the first 5 episodes, well, the 5 episodes of I Am Groot, which is the shorts all
What,
around
you
Groot.
motherfucker?
I'm sorry, buddy. But they're great. Like, I was very surprised. They're super fun.
Why are
They
you surprised? That's fucking
Well, I don't know. I feel like the short stuff on Disney Plus is a little bit of a mixed bag, kind of.
Come on, dude. A funny thing happened on the way to the Thor's hammer. It was a ton of fun.
Yes. Regardless, this feels like lost episodes from the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, and it actually single-handedly, even though they're all like 3 minutes long, made me more excited for the future of the MCU. So I think
Ooh,
there's
wow.
a lot of stuff
So
happening.
you're saying there's some hope.
I'm saying there's a chance.
Yeah.
And there's a chance you can support us at patreon.com/comicbookclub. Also, we do a live show every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. to Crowdcast and YouTube. Come hang out. We would love to chat with you about the Marvel Universe. Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, or the app of your choice to subscribe, listen, and follow the show at MarvelVision Pod on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. ComicBookClubLive.com for this podcast and many more. Until next time, stay marvelous.